Hi, in today's video I will share with you some tips on successful bow making for beginners. You will learn from it what bowyer needs to be focused on and what he should avoid. Some of my regular viewers may already know some of these tips, but I am convinced they will be helpful for many aspiring bow makers. These are a result of 5 years of intense bow making and breaking experience. But before we get into the topic, let me invite you to my website and store. A few weeks ago I've created an ebook focused on bow making basics. I am really happy with the positive feedback it has received. Moreover, on my page there is a blog section with many articles on different bow making topics. You can find the link in the comment. But now let's get into the video. Number 1. Work with easily accessible material. Some people taking a first look at bow making may think that there are only a few woods that can be used to make a bow. That's because species like yew or Osage orange are used very commonly and often are preferred above all others. But don't worry, you can make a bow almost out of any wood. Of course, some are more suitable than others, but in the beginning of your bow making journey, the most important for you is to gain experience and learn the process. It would be a shame to break precious yew stave, which is by the way far more challenging to work with than woods you can probably find nearby. So look around and see what you can get. Most of the hardwoods are decent material. It's worth to visit local hardware store. Some boards like hickory, oak or maple can be useful too. Remember, you can make a great bow out of many wood species. Number 2. Take your time to select proper wood piece. Now let's talk about wood selection. When it comes to the branches, saplings or logs, you want them to be as straight as possible. I mean here both the grain and trunk curvature. Any grain twists can be noticed on the bark, so pay attention to it. It's good to look for pieces longer than 65 inches. The most suitable log diameter for bow making is for me 4 to 8 inches. Nonetheless, thin 2 to 3 inches branches or saplings can make lovely bows too, and what's more, are easier choice for the beginner as they require less effort. What we should avoid in the bow making material? Any knots, rotten wood, curves or bumps on the trunk make the bow build more complicated or even impossible to finish. On the other hand, don't be too strict. There is no perfect wood piece out there and each one will challenge you one way or another. Picking a board, look for straight grained pieces without runoffs on the entire length. Number 3. Take care of wood you have scored. You got your dream bow making material. Now, you need to prepare it for further works. Remove the bark. If possible, split the trunks into staves. Then seal ends and backs of staves to avoid appearing drying cracks. Such pieces should be stored in proper conditions. We don't want the room to be too humid, but also not too hot. It's good to keep an eye on staves, and if there are any worrying signs like cracking, move the material to other place. Number 4. Focus on the basics. In my opinion, there are 2 crucial stages in bow making process, and they are designing and tailoring. These decide about the success or the failure of the project. Working on a bow, we have to keep it in mind. Either during designing and tailoring, we have to take into account specific wood piece properties and imperfections. Each wood piece is different and requires individual approach. Number 5. Don't overstress the bow. I mean here both designing and using the finished product. Making your bow as a beginner, you should go for a safer design. And safer usually means longer, with flat and wide limbs. Recurves or longbows require better quality material and more experience. When it comes to using finished bow, don't overdraw it. Use 10 grain per pound arrows, store it in proper conditions, and never fire dry. For more tips, check out my video about wood bow care. Number 6. Don't rush, work carefully. Patience is the key on each bow making stage. Starting from drying, when there are sometimes many months needed for wood to get down to the proper moisture content level, to tailoring, when too much rush may lead to the pile of splinters. I know, it's sometimes difficult to control it, but patience for sure is very beneficial for a bowyer. It also gives him a time to think about the best possible step he can take next. Number 7. Use safety precautions. I'm not very often mentioning about it, but it's extremely important too. Work carefully. Wear safety goggles and gloves. Be careful, especially during tillering. Even if the bow is bending evenly, it can break. There are sometimes hidden defects that we can't see at first. So the bowyer has to protect himself and his eyes. Remember that some species are toxic and dust might be dangerous to the craftsman. So sanding such a piece, remember about the mask. These are all tips for today, guys. For more detailed instructions, check out my other videos. Thank you for your time. Bye.